Welcome to the Life Turkey podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Life Junkies podcast with me, Mike Brazier. Now today we're here to talk about the Royal Rumble, but I'm not alone. I have with me a good friend Chris Johnson, who is a cameraman for Sky Sports. Hello Chris.
Hiya Mike, you alright mate?
I'm good, you?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Long day at work, but yeah.
Brilliant.
Excited to be doing this tonight.
So, as well as doing camera work for Sky Sports, Chris is also getting a little cheeky plug in here because, you know, the millions of people that listen to his podcast will now rush out and buy it. But Chris has been lucky enough to make a film about his boyhood club, Barnsley, about their season in the Premier League.
Yeah, so we made a film called Daydream Believers. I'm from Barnsley. I'm a Barnsley lad, Barnsley fan. And we had 1 year in our history, 1997-98 in the Premier League. So we made a documentary, not just about the football, more about the town and the social aspects of recovering from the miners' strike and how it affected people in the area, then how bringing Premier League football to the town for just 1 year just kind of moved a grey cloud and made everybody a little bit happy for that time. So we went round, interviewed the ex-players, interviewed some journalists and got the footage, and we made a film, and it's gone incredibly well. We're really, really proud of it.
See, this is the kind of thing that we're always talking about when we're talking about the World Cup and why we're taking it to South Africa and to Qatar, because it will make, you know, these people's lives a bit happier and it'll bring some money into the area. But while it never seems to work for the World Cup, it obviously did for the Premier League in Barnsley.
It did. The head of the council at the time we interviewed said it was basically like Barnsley got a £20 million makeover campaign because the miners' strike in like 83, 84, 85, it kind of made the rest of the country forget about places like Barnsley. It just dropped off the map. Thousands of people, 15,000 people lost a job in Barnsley Central alone. And then you've got all like the supporting networks of businesses that shut down, that supplied the mines. So everybody went from being employed to unemployed and forgotten about. And then through the football team, 10, 12 years later, somehow they got back to national recognition again. And like I said, it really was just a happier place to live for that 12 months. And it comes across really well in the film, and I'm really proud of it. And we've managed to donate £31,000 to the local hospital from the profits we made out of the film. So it's something I'm really proud of.
Yeah, it's great that. And sort of you mentioned national recognition. As a kid, and about this time I was 8, 9 years old. But as a kid, I have always seen Barnsley as a big club because when I was young, and I didn't have any much memory of before that, Barnsley were a Premier League club. So they sort of, that one season sort of left an imprint on me and the way I see Barnsley.
Yeah, well, that's great. That is because we really aren't a big club, so that's good. That is literally our one and only year in the top flight of English football in like 130 years. Never before, never since. But I think it was just football. The Premier League was becoming big then. It was quite a popular time. There were some big players about. I mean, when we were making the video, you've got like people like Vialli and Zola, just classic 90s footballers. And it's been great to do, really has. And I think it's got a really nice nostalgic feel, so people who aren't Barnsley fans can still enjoy it.
Yeah, well, of course, I learnt my mistake years later. But we are getting dangerously close to a football podcast here.
Yeah.
And of course, that's not what we're here to talk about.
No, not at all, sorry.
We are here to talk about the Royal Rumble. So, we have a little background on you. How did you get into wrestling? Who were your favourite wrestlers from your days as a kid watching?
That's how I got into it as a kid, basically. So I'm 38 now, just gone 38. So you're talking WrestleMania, probably 6 or 7. So Hogan was the big man then. I suppose he always has been, but he was the man that you watched, that you wanted to see. There was no like Raw and SmackDown then, so you literally saw about 2 events a year, the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. So I got in with Hogan, with Warrior. My all-time favourite, and still is, even though obviously he's declined a lot, is The Undertaker. I don't know why, but even now, even at my age of 38, the chimes of his music still sends goosebumps up and down my neck, which is maybe a little bit sad, but I think it'll be a sad day when he finally packs in, and one that's not too far away, really.
hasn't he? He's pretty much packed it in now. There's no plans for him to come back this year.
I don't know. I mean, he came back and he did that match against Triple H and Shawn Michaels, didn't he, out in Saudi Arabia? Last WrestleMania he did John Cena, which was a terrible match. But you never know. You never know. They might give him one more big day. There's rumours that he's going to be in this year's Hall of Fame, and if that's the case, then you'd think that would be it. That'll be is the end to him, I think.
Yeah, we thought the end was going to be when he first lost at WrestleMania, but that didn't happen then.
No, that's probably about 5 years ago.
Yeah, at least 5 years ago. It's one of those. It must be because with me being a fair bit younger than you, he's not quite. He hasn't quite got the It's all right. It's only 8 years. It's fine.
Yeah.
Please, I've just hit 30. I'm trying to retain all the amount of youth I can.
Yeah.
It's my sort of nostalgia wrestling the Hardy Boys.
Oh, right, of course. Yeah.
So sort of Undertaker has never been one of those. I remember him from watching as a kid, but he's never been a massive thing for me. It must be quite hard seeing someone like the Undertaker who was just so powerful, so brilliant, sort of in the state he's in currently, because he's not doing well with matches and pushing it probably further than he should.
I think he's 50, probably 54, 55 now, you'd think. And I mean, he's had an amazing career. To last this long and do everything he's done is incredible. And I suppose it must be hard for him himself to let go, to be this character for so long that people love. To finally say, that's it, I'm not putting on the hat anymore, I'm not doing it anymore. It must be an incredibly hard thing to do. But maybe one more match. There's always one more, isn't there? Maybe should have one more big match, then leave it at that. And like he did before, leave his hat in the ring and walk away from forever. Well, not forever. He could always come back and, I don't know, he could always have a backstage role somehow. But as a wrestler, that's probably, in the next 12 months, the last we see of him.
Who would be your one last match for The Undertaker?
He had such good matches against Shawn Michaels, but I think even Shawn's too old now to put two old wrestlers together. It's very unlikely, but I'd like to see him beat Brock, seeing as he was the person who beat him. Just to beat him, even though it's very unlikely, just to do that, finish on that. That's it. This guy took my streak, but I'm beating him now, and then walk away. Done.
See, that's a proper fan of a wrestler answer, because you sort of looked into his history and gone, no, that's that one major blemish. I'd like to get rid of that.
Yeah, it would be good. I think he'd probably like that.
And we're going to talk about it in a minute. You're not you don't really watch much other than the general WWE product. But there's a guy down on NXT who's got a really similar aura to The Undertaker, and who I think will be one of the next great stars. And it's Aleister Black.
Yeah, I've heard of Aleister Black.
He's a Dutch guy, used to be known as Tommy End. Okay. He is brilliant, and I'd love to see him come up, and his first feud is I Want The Undertaker, and that is it, at least of that match, and he beats him there, and then that is the proper passing of the torch, because the two matches Undertaker's lost, they're both they're not really proper passings of the torch, because no one really wanted it.
No.
You've got Brock Lesnar, and you've got Reigns.
Yeah. And
it was I've always felt that those were two bad choices in beating you. Because it didn't work.
No.
Either of them, really.
Reigns he was Vince's boy, and that's the reason. That's why Vince wanted the torch passing on to him. He's tried to push Reigns for so many years, even though the fans don't seem to really get on board with him. I think that's why Taker lost to him.
Yeah. It's with the sad news about Reigns as well, I think that will be the thing that will finally get him over. As sad as it is to say.
It's true, though. That's true.
I said I did a video, I think it was the second video on the YouTube channel, which is about Reigns and about how that will be what finally gets him over.
Yeah.
But no, it would have been nice to see him put over a young talent, because Reigns by that point wasn't a young talent. He was former world champion. And Lesnar is Lesnar. Yeah. I was just as shocked as anyone else when Lesnar won that. I didn't see it in a million years.
No. Although the good thing about Lesnar is Paul Heyman. I love Paul Heyman. I do. I love him. He's brilliant.
You could easily attach Paul Heyman to nearly anyone. He even made what's his name? I always forget names on the Mr. Perfect son, Curtis Axel. Yeah. He even made him look credible for a few months.
True. I'd like to see him have a female client. It'd be great to see we'll speak about, we're jumping the gun, but when we talk about people later, if you were to get one of the new NXT wrestlers to come up and have Paul Heyman bring them up straight into top card, I think that'd be a really nice push.
Yeah, you've got to make sure it's the right person though. Like there's a few wrestlers, especially female wrestlers on NXT, that I think they could really do with a manager. The two Japanese girls from I'm gonna tell everyone who's listening now, to do this podcast, I was massively behind on NXT, and over the last night and today, I have binge watched 8 episodes of NXT.
Wow.
I managed to skip a best of episode, and I managed to skip the after War Games episode. I have luckily my family don't like spending time with me anyway, so they've been off doing other things. So yeah, I managed to sit down and watch 8 episodes. And the one thing that's really hit me is that the two Japanese girls down on NXT, it's Kairi Sane and I'm probably going to get it wrong, it's Io Shirai. The promo skills, and I know they are handicapped from doing it in a language that isn't their own, but it just doesn't hit it off for me. It just doesn't work. And for them to have someone to come in and do their promos for them, I think would massively, both really good in the ring. Shirai is a bit of a sin cara at times, but in general, technically they're brilliant, but they just haven't quite got the charisma to pull it off in English. So yeah, having someone come in and doing that for them would really help them out. Yeah. So we have a very stacked card. Two shows to get through. With 2 hour plus Rumble matches on. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and talk about Takeover.
Yeah, listening to Life Junkies podcast.
And we are back. And so in the first part of this podcast, I want to preview Takeover Phoenix. Now, we're in a bit of an opposition here because we are recording this on Saturday night UK time. And of course, Takeover hasn't happened yet. However, this is being released at 6 p.m. Sunday UK time, which will be after NXT Takeover has happened. So if you're listening to this, come and listen to what we think about before the event. And I will, I will review it next week. And hopefully you'll listen to this and realising that I got everything correct. Before I want to start, I have a special beer here. It's a beer by Clown Shoes Brewery from America. The reason I've saved this beer until tonight is because I first heard it on a wrestling podcast that I listened to. One of the co-hosts on that used to get sent a crate of beer, and he's very honest that these guys just sent me a crate of beer. So I'm going to drink this while I'm doing the show. And it was, so he used to drink Clown Shoes beer, and I got one of these in my Beer 52 subscription. I got 2 of them. I've drank the other one. So this is me being a complete fanboy. I wanted to drink a Clown Shoes beer on my wrestling pod, which is nowhere near as big as that wrestling podcast. But,
when you say beer, you mean it's like an American lager type beer, I presume.
It tells me it is a mango American Kolsch.
Oh mate, I could walk to my fridge. I could walk to my fridge now and get that beer out of my fridge because I also do Beer 52. There you go.
Why have you put it in the fridge?
I put all my beer in the fridge. Mate, you always drink beer cold.
Mate,
it goes down faster.
Proper beer you put in a cellar. So I haven't got a cellar, of course.
I have a cellar as well.
House, I've got a little cupboard which is always nice and cool and beer temperature.
Oh no, I like
don't
cold
get the proper
beer.
flavour if you. Anyway, I'm doing the second ever sparking up of a beer. The first one was in my failed attempt to spark up a beer with FN Grasshopper.
I was just going to say that
was drinking water.
Yeah, that sounds a bit.
So, cheers, mate. And this is my second one. Love that noise.
It does always sound good. I was just going to say that to you. In fact, that's probably the best bit of the Grass and Gear podcast is the sound effects from the beer opening.
No, the best bit of a Grass and Gear podcast is the music, then the sparking up of a beer.
Yeah, true, very true. And then the really weird endings they always do because they don't know if they've finished speaking or not.
Right, we can say what we want because they won't be listening to
exactly.
So we can spend the rest of the episode just trashing them, they won't know.
Perfect.
Right. Anyway, on to Takeover because otherwise we'll be here until Takeover started.
Yes, of course.
First match I want to talk about is Matt Riddle versus Cassius Ohno, which is the third match in the saga. They did the first one at War Games, in which Riddle took Ohno out with one kick,
Wow.
And then they did a second match on NXT. So it comes down to this one, which after the second match, Ono attacked him.
Mm.
So Ono has very much been the gatekeeper for NXT, formerly known as Chris Hero, of course, on the Indies. The new guys come in, they beat him, they leave, and go on to the next match.
Right,
He's been given a somewhat of a push for this feud, and his new storyline is that he's fed up of the young guys coming in and taking his spot. So instead of getting in shape, he's just going to start attacking. I think he's always good for a good match, which is why he is the gate. He's basically the Dolph Ziggler of NXT. So he'll be good for a good match. I reckon this will definitely go longer than the last one. But I can't see past Riddle winning this and then moving on.
And Riddle's the former UFC MMA type guy.
Yes. He's one of the new wave of MMA guys that are going for, which I guess is the easy money in WWE.
Yeah.
Like, it's still painful. You're still on the road a lot and doing stuff, but I guess you're not actually getting hit.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
It's a hard one to weigh up, really, with the repetitiveness on the road. But no, he's the one. He's really good. I like him. He's done stuff in Progress as well. He was the global champion for a while. Okay. He's really good. I like him. And the fans have taken to him, the WWE NXT fan. He's someone I could see doing well, definitely.
Very good. So you win, Riddle win?
Yes, Riddle win. The next match I've got here is for the North American title, with Johnny Gargano taking on Ricochet.
Yeah.
I know you wanted to talk about or ask about Johnny Gargano because you
basically, because I'm not massive on NXT, but there's certain names that you hear and you pick up on, and Gargano's one. So I was just going to say, like, if you were to put him into the main roster, is he somebody who would walk in at like intercontinental title level, or is he somebody who could go straight in, maybe not against Brock, but could go in against against Daniel Bryan, something like that? He
would walk in. I reckon he'd walk in at intercontinental title level, simply because it'll give him a little while to let the fans warm up to him. And I don't think he's ever going to be big enough. He's not got the look that Vince wants, which is issue. Like, he looks like me, just in shape. He's short hair, regular beard. There's nothing about him that screams sport entertainer. But what he does have is he just gets it. When I first started watching NXT, he was in a tag team with Tommaso Ciampa, called DIY, and it was this great. There were two jobbers when they formed it, and there's a story of they went up and they beat the Revival for the belts, and it was this glorious moment. They had them for a few months before Authors of Pain came out and beat them, and that sort of led to Ciampa's turn. And this was a few years ago, and they are still in a story together.
Wow.
Him and Ciampa. This is, I always say, it's sort of New Japan style storytelling. And I know, again, you said you don't watch anything much other than the WWE wrestlers.
I'm not all fair with it. No, that the New Japan stuff is that where Jericho was?
Yes.
He just left there, man. I saw something about that.
Yeah, he's just gone to AEW. And I don't watch any of the shows or anything like that, but I know about it, and I've sort of seen how they do the stories, and sort of they lengthen them out, and sort of people can still be in a feud, but they're fighting other people for a bit, and they've done this, and then they have sort of a run of 3 or so matches, and then suddenly they're fighting a few other people, and it's helped. It's been lengthened out partly because Ciampa was out for nearly a year, I think, with a knee injury. But it's just been since that they've constantly been revolving around each other, and they've had being a tag team as DIY, and then they've come back with Ciampa attacking Gargano and costing him his job, and then Gargano's given him one more match. If you win this match, that's your chance back onto the roster, and he won it. And they went through the feud, and it looked like they were going to split up, and then they both moved into the NXT title picture and had that feud while Aleister Black was injured. And now it looks like Gargano's turned into the dark side, and they're teasing them reforming as DIY.
You see, that is the best way to tell the stories. That's what WWE used to do over longer periods of time. Now you get a little feud. They go to a main event, a pay-per-view, the fight, and then the fight again, the same fight the following week on Raw. 2 weeks later, they'll fight again on Raw. It just ties it out. They'll do everything in 5 weeks.
Well, think how many times Finn Balor and Baron Corbin fought in their feud. And I think that's where they messed up the Bryan Miz feud, because that was, they had money in that feud. and that feud
it
was awful.
terrible.
I think if they'd lengthened it out, if they'd had that first one where Miz won and then Miz refused to fight Bryan, and it led to, and then Miz went on to win. This is what I want to happen, is then Miz goes on to win the title. Bryan, determined to fight Miz again, goes and gets a match, gets into Rumble, wins the Rumble, giving the fans the fan service that they wanted, and then goes on to defeat Miz, who has made his life a living hell, going out to WrestleMania in the main event of WrestleMania. That would have been, but you know, they're doing the Bryan heel turn, and that is brilliant. So
True.
Long live woke Daniel Bryan. But we are getting ahead of ourselves. That's for another segment, and it's probably 3 hours.
Sorry.
What we are. There's a point in the go home show for this pay-per-view where they were really teasing it. So it's been the last few weeks. Has been helping out Gargano, getting him into matches, and then he was getting having a fight with Ricochet and losing. And then Ciampa appears, Ricochet from behind, and Gargano gets the upper hand. And he sees Ciampa. He knows Ciampa's the one that's taken Ricochet out to allow him to beat him up. And then Aleister Black appears, and they have a fight. But Ciampa and Gargano have one standing at the end, and Ciampa just puts his hand out for a handshake. And Johnny's there, and he's doing the wandering. Am I going to take it? And he goes to take it, and all of a sudden his wife, who's also a wrestler on the roster, Candice LeRae, comes out, and she's like, "No,
Oh no,
I'm not letting you do this. No, remember what you put us through." Because this thing where he stole Johnny's wedding ring and kissed her in the match or something, and it was all. And that was the thing that broke Gargano, because he was Johnny wrestling. He was the proper. He was, in this day and age, he was a genuine 100% babyface that was over.
Okay.
And they've twisted it now to him becoming a heel, and they've done it brilliantly all along. And the fans are still sort of backing in to a certain extent. But so that was that. So yeah, she paused and went. That was how that ended, and so that's your last thought for pay-per-view. So this match is intrinsically linked to the NXT title match. I probably should have put this later, but no, that was the brilliant ending to that,
So,
and it was
who
great.
do you go for this then?
I've got Johnny Gargano to win.
You didn't sound very confident.
It's a hard one, and it's a hard because Ricochet's full of momentum, but I haven't seen him as any more than a placeholder for this title. I would say that Gargano wins with help from Ciampa just to further their feud that bit. But you never really know what's going to happen. But no, that's what I'm going with that. I don't know if I'm trying to convince anyone but me, but yeah. I'm going to move on to the next match before I change my mind. The next match is the NXT Tag Team title, which is Raw Raiders taking on the champions, the Undisputed Era.
I have heard of the Undisputed Era.
You've heard of both
Undisputed Era. I don't know the War Raiders.
So the Raw Raiders were War Machine.
Okay.
On the, I don't know if you've heard of them. I hadn't heard much of them.
No.
They were a massive indie tag team, and it seemed it's quite a coup they got them. I'm not a massive fan so far, and I bit War Games show review because I felt they didn't do what their job in that match was. They're too busy trying to do high flying moves, being two big blokes, and they're not big as in like big. They're big, pretty much. Big fat hairy Vikings is what they look like, and then they're trying to jump off. And like there's a part in a thing where on NXT where one of them did a cartwheel to get out of the way of being hit, and it just looked a bit clunky. And it's okay, cool. There's a guy that size doing that, but that's Samoa Joe's gimmick, and Samoa Joe does it better than anyone else. Far better than these two. They did do. I think it might be in the same match. They did do a nice big power move in that where you had them up for a it's not a power slam, is it? JBL used to do, but you just sort of you have them a bit like Mark Henry's While Strong.
Oh right, yeah, not you.
And then the other War Raider put the other tag team partner on for a power bomb as well, and he just slammed them both down. So that's impressive. Yeah. I want more of that. And these are two guys that would be brilliant on the main roster as well. Vince would love them if they start doing cartwheels. It doesn't help that here in the War Raiders just makes me think of Fridge Raiders. Which is a snack over here. I presume it's a very UK
Probably
thing.
I would have thought for.
No one else would be stupid enough to eat
Processed meat.
Not horrible thing. It's like processed meat, the nasty stuff.
But it's the stuff I have to eat when I'm driving
watching.
home late at night from work, or the other place you get to is a garage. I always end up buying a bag of refrigerators.
It's those with like a gangster's pasty.
That's it. Pepperami.
The Undisputed Era, however, are brilliant. Adam Cole, the leader, is the newest guy to be crowned the next Shawn Michaels. Because that works so well for guys like Dom Ziggler. There's 4 of them there, and they're really good as a team. Again, all small guys that do well in the main roster. Even though a lot of people have tried to say Adam Cole would do well, but I really don't think, because I'm pretty sure he's smaller than Shawn Michaels as well.
Okay.
Like, he's great in the ring, and he's booked. And this is something that really struck me as I was watching. He's not booked as a cowardly heel. There's an issue with EC3. If you've heard of Ethan Carter the Third,
he's made some
TNA for a bit.
appearances on Raw and SmackDown this last couple of weeks without actually competing. He's just been in the back, like modelling himself in front of a mirror, or he's not spoke a word or anything. You've just seen him, like, except for the last 2 weeks in episodes.
That's where he's best. I'm a big fan of EC3. He's not brilliant in the ring. He's all right in the ring, but he can get around. I really like his character work. He's a bit of an Alexa Bliss.
All right, cool. Yeah.
In that sort of thing where he's good in the ring with the facial expressions and all that. And there's TNA used to do these pay-per-views that were sort of out of sync, so they'd record a boatload of them together and then just sort of put them out as sort of exhibition matches. So it was always really jarring because it was nothing to do with the current storylines. I only watched the next TNA at this bit for like a few months while Broken Matt Hardy was on. But this was sort of they were well into a Broken Matt Hardy story, and this match had happened when he had first changed. So it was like really early Broken Matt Hardy against EC3, and it was just really funny because he was doing all the broken mannerisms, and EC3 was playing it off. It was brilliant. The match was meh, but the start was I really enjoyed it. But anyway. I'm not here to talk about EC3. I'm here to talk about Undisputed. So he's playing as he was the one that went out and had that match. He didn't get one of his goons to go and have a match. He went out and had the match. And then when the Raw Raiders came, they didn't run away. They stood and fought. Like they were still beaten, but they stood and fought. And it's a really nice change of pace. And it really stands out because every heel on the main roster is a cowardly heel.
Yeah,
they're all the same.
No, that's good.
They're all Edge, aren't they? Because Edge is brilliant with it.
So good, Edge.
And
so good.
It's an issue for me. I'm tired of seeing these cowardly heels. It's cowardly heels and bitchy women is the only heel characters they seem to be able to write anymore.
Very true.
And it's why no one gets over. Right.
So what are you going for?
Yeah. I've got Undisputed Era down. This is a weird one because there's not much of a build. They spent most of the time since War Games feuding with Heavy Machinery, which are another tag team down there. This is the Undisputed Era.
Heavy Machinery, they've just come to Raw, I think, haven't they?
Have they? They're another team that's just two fat blokes. They've now given them the Blue Collar Soul moniker, which they on NXT they layered on heavy, and I was like, this has got Vince McMahon all over it. So it doesn't surprise me they're going to the main roster. But they're saying like Dusty Rhodes, these are two working class guys. And I was
they gave him like one of them a crazy gimmick where he doesn't speak, he just does weird stuff. They were on both Raw and SmackDown, I think, last week. So they've not decided which side they're going to go to, but they were on both episodes.
They're one team they're not ready to go up. I didn't think Alexa Bliss was ready to go up. Yeah,
she's class.
I also didn't think Apollo Crews was ready to go up. One of those worked, one of those really didn't. Right, yeah, I've got Undisputed Era to win. Just because the weird sort of non-build-up of this, it's just sort of in the last 2 weeks I don't know when, this match is happening at Takeover. And Undisputed Era are great, and they can't, these are the last belts they have, so they can't, I don't think they can lose these belts unless they're going up. But I wouldn't move them up yet. I wouldn't move them up at all, but definitely not yet. So we've got the women's title next, which is Bianca Belair against Shayna Baszler, who's the champion.
Baszler's the UFC, is she? UFC? Was she Ronda Rousey?
Yeah, she's one of the four horsewomen.
That's it, the four horsewomen,
she's one of Ronda Rousey's friends.
Okay. Look at that bit, you'd think, because I read something the other day, she's about 38 though, isn't she? So you're thinking if she's going to move up, that's going to be pretty soon. I'm sure somebody said she's like 37, 38 years old or something like that.
Because I know you've got down here about rumours about her going up into the
Yeah,
Rumble.
I think she will. I think she'll appear tonight at the Rumble. Having lose a belt Saturday night, then tomorrow night appear at the Rumble.
She is. How do you know more than me about an
Just
NXT
her.
wrestler?
That's it. Just
How's
got
that
some weird fascination with Shayna Baszler. No, but no. I think that could be the way. That's what might happen. Is that she will drop her belt and then appear one night later in the Rumble.
I think she'll appear in the Rumble. I don't think they'll call her up yet. Simply, I think it would cause issues with Rousey. I think because they would feel like they had to acknowledge it in some way and have, you can't put her in a feud with her because Rousey is currently in the feud with Becky and Charlotte. So I would say wait until after WrestleMania. If Rousey's not taking time off, brilliant, you've got a ready-made feud there. If she is taking time off, then Baszler can step up into her place.
True.
Because she's ready. She's definitely ready for it. She was the one that took the title first off Ember Moon, which I wasn't happy about at the time.
See, I'm not having Ember Moon, mate. I'm not a big fan of Ember Moon. I just don't.
You're not.
This is it. This is it. I just
good.
don't think they'll give her anything to do.
Well, yeah. No, if you saw her so Ember Moon's story on NXT is a bit of a tragic one because she could never beat Asuka for the title. And then Asuka left and vacated the title to move up, and then Ember Moon won it. Had a few defenses against a few people, and then lost it to Baszler. And I always felt it was a bit sad because I wanted her to have a longer run because then she's always in Asuka's shadow. And I've got thoughts about that, which I'll mention later on in the appropriate match. People will be able to guess what match I'm going to talk about. But so I've talked about Baszler. She's brilliant. She's got a move where she puts her arm up, so it's sort of they're lying on the ground and their arm is resting on their hand.
All right, yeah.
And then stomps on the elbow, and it looked brutal. Like I can't work out how they do it safely, and they must do it safely. But I can't work out how it's that it really looks nasty, and you wince every time she does it.
Yeah. Good.
And that's just sort of one of a number of aspects of her character. They've just brought up the other two 4 horsewomen of MMA. So she's sort of been involved in their feud at the moment. So I don't know. It depends if they're willing to let those two go on their own, or if they want her. I would keep her with them so they get the ropes and then can sort of move up and take her place.
Yeah, I get you. We shall see.
Yeah. Belair, Bianca Belair is who she's fighting, and she's someone I haven't got much time for in NXT. I only realised as I was watching it today just how big she is. Not big as in like a Karma Way or something like that. She's big. She's tall and well built. I thought from the look of her, she was quite a small girl, but she was in a match with Nikki Cross, who I believe
she's already been on. Yeah,
she's already up, and she towered above Nikki Cross.
Yeah,
and she's got a few good power moves. She's all right in the ring. She's quite good. I find a lot of her character quite irritating, and she's got like one of her signature moves is whipping someone with her braid. And she's got a really long.
Yeah, I've seen. I saw a little like preview thing of her because she's unbeaten and she's undefeated with power. Yeah.
Yes. Or undefeated.
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
And she had a small Twitter feud with Dana Brooke. Because Dana Brooke, I think it was Dana Brooke, might have been Mandy Rose. I can't remember. It was a blonde generic wrestler on the main roster. During a match, they just flip their hair at someone as like a sign of disrespect. And she was like, "That's my move. You can't steal my move." As if she was some 80s wrestler who was defending her finisher. And I was like, it's a completely different thing because you wind your hair out like a baseball bat, try and hit them with it, and it's supposed to really hurt them. And this was just a show of disrespect. It's a stupid move anyway.
It does sound like
like don't defend stupid moves. Yeah, but I'm not a fan.
No, that's coming across slightly.
She has toned down certain aspects. I think there's a lot of better women on the roster. I don't like Kairi Sane's pirate gimmick, but I prefer Kairi Sane. But someone like Lacey Evans is really good. She's the first woman in NXT. She's on Raw. She's on Raw now. Okay, well that's why she's not in this match.
She's in the Royal Rumble.
Oh,
so she's in the Rumble. She came out this week on Alexa Bliss has got her own set up talk show thing. All the wrestlers came out. They had a bit of a scuffle. They all went backstage. She was left talking. Alexa Bliss, then her music hits. She came out. Lacey Evans did a big "I'm the new woman" of "This is what's going to happen. I'm going to win the Rumble," and walked off.
This is why they're suddenly pushing so many new women on NXT, is because they've sent them all up to the main roster.
Yeah.
Okay. This is WWE have completely ruined my NXT
Yeah.
preview because by me not watching Raw or SmackDown.
She was in fact, Lacey Evans was the one I was going to put in for my prediction for to be in the last 4 of the Women's Royal Rumble. I thought they might give her a push. So, yeah.
Cool. Right. Okay. With that, I've got Shayna Baszler to win. I'm not entirely confident of that now because they'll probably just call it off and call both women up to the main roster. Bianca Belair has had a certain thing of a Roman Reigns about her, where she's obviously been the chosen one for a while, and they've tried to keep her build slow. She's been off TV for various points in her run, but it's been obvious that no one was going to touch her. So I wouldn't be completely surprised if she won, but I would keep Baszler on there.
I think if Baszler loses, I think it's a good bet that she'll then turn up on the Rumble and stay up there.
Yeah, but I miss wrestlers coming up with their NXT title. Do you remember when Kevin Owens came up? I don't know if he ever brought the NXT title onto the main TV, but he came up as champion. Yeah, sure. And had that feud with John Cena.
I can't remember if I ever saw his tag.
Why can't they do that?
I don't know. Maybe they don't want to get. You know what Vince is like with his main 2 flagship shows. Probably doesn't want to throw any light down on NXT.
I can understand if it was someone from Progress coming out of her title or something, but it's not. It's his own company. The last match on the card is the NXT title match of Aleister Black versus Tommaso Ciampa. I've talked a lot about Ciampa. I've talked a fair bit about Black as well in this. So I'm going to keep this one short and sweet, mainly because we're also running out of time. My main worry with this match is that sort of Black has faded into the background somewhat in the Ciampa Gargano.
Yeah.
So he's almost an afterthought. He's just the I was about to say big bad man, but he's the face situation. He's just a big hard guy. He's trying to beat them both up, and it's both of them because Gargano was the one in storyline responsible for putting him on the shelf for a few months. Okay. He's been after both of them since he's come back. While I love Black, Ciampa's title run has been brilliant, and I think to carry on the story with him and Gargano, he'll keep the title for now.
Cool.
And I have a sneaking suspicion that they're going to go up to main roster as DIY together. Mainly because I was reading today that apparently Vince is planning on pushing tag teams.
Right.
They're looking to bring more tag teams in. They're looking to put some tag teams together. They're looking at getting Hawkins and Ryder back together.
They appeared together this week.
Here you go. Quick trivia. Do you remember what they were first called when they came up?
No, I can tell you now. No, it's a very quick answer. Go on.
You're not.
No.
I know they came up as brothers because there was a big story about that Vince McMahon thought they were brothers because they looked very similar. And as soon as he found out they weren't brothers, why the hell are we putting these guys as brothers? Because they were on the old WWE CW show for a bit.
Really? I didn't know that.
It was something brothers. It'll come back to it. Google it. I will find out before the end of this podcast, and I'll come back to it. But I've got Ciampa to win. But I think that's going to be a brilliant match as well because they're both brilliant wrestlers. I wouldn't be too surprised if we brought Aleister Black up. This is the part where you're supposed to tell me that he's already on the main roster and he's actually in the Royal Rumble.
But I have wrote on my thing here, I wonder if he will make an appearance at the Rumble, mainly because of what you've said about how he's been kind of faded into the background a bit. And I just wonder if maybe they'll get him ready now to give him a push into the main arena.
I'm just having images of it because it all goes back for his entrance. Similar to Undertaker, and you see Aleister Black in some form of runic text, and then there's then he comes out, and the music's so good. I've got the music. I've generally got his music on my Around the House playlist. It's so good. It's just again, I reckon your music tastes are probably going to be slightly different to mine, but it's like a hardcore punk-esque type of music, and they actually had the band play him out at one of the takeovers. It's just so good.
It would be good to do something like that. I imagine that's what fans would want to see, so Vince won't do it. So it won't happen.
Oh no, that's you know what? If that happened, that would be one of the things I would just lose my mind. That would be for me similar to AJ Styles coming out at the Rumble a few years ago.
Yeah.
Because even though we all knew it was going to happen, I still, you know what, it would be Hardy Boys coming back level of marking out, because that was biggest
class.
ever
That
mark
was
out
class.
moment.
And it was such a long
And,
runway for him to get down to the ring.
But also, they were so good at hiding the fact that they were coming back, because they were doing a party in a completely different part.
Yeah,
place.
it was good. And the New Day, when it announced them, and they were like making out as if it was going to be them who were going to be entering. No, it was class. It was really good.
Oh no! Now if that doesn't happen, I'm going to be disappointed. You may have ruined this Rumble for me. You're giving me this.
No worries. So go on. So you said you're going for Black. Ciampa to win.
Ciampa. Black to win the
Of
Royal
course,
Rumble,
yeah.
of course.
From number one.
Anything else, and I'll cancel my subscription. Right. Let's call it a break there, and we'll come back for part 2 of the Royal Rumble.
This is a Life Junkie podcast.
Right, and we are back for part 2. Now, this is the part where we talk about the Rumble, so we get into the meat of this weekend, I guess. And this will be, hopefully, if you're listening to it Sunday night, in the few hours before Royal Rumble goes live, and then you haven't watched Rumble yet, and you're about to listen to our preview. I've really picked releasing my podcast on Sunday night is really a pain for wrestling. It doesn't help. But anyway, we are here, and this is my decision I've made, and I'm stubborn, so I'm sticking to it, possibly. Anyway, so I've said it many times on this podcast, not this particular one, but the live Junkcast, that I don't watch Raw and SmackDown. In fact, I'm coming up to the year of me deciding it was Royal Rumble last year when I was watching it, and I was like, you know what? I'm done watching Raw and SmackDown because I'm not enjoying them. I'm not getting anything from them. And I can follow it just as easy on social media or through YouTube channels like What Culture, who do the ups and downs.
Do you know what helps though? Is being able to fast forward. Not, if you're watching them, so you can just fast forward through a lot of stuff that is just there as wallpaper. Really, it does make him a bit more enjoyable. I think.
I did this for a while. I did, and it was mainly fast forwarding through Roman Reigns spots. But I found I was just fast forwarding through the whole thing, and waiting until Matt Hardy showed up. And Matt Hardy, cool, I'll watch him.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? It's a long time. Even fast forwarding, that's 5 fast forwarded hours of your life going. I could be using that time to watch something else. And at the time, I was like, I could be using that time to get into 205 Live, and that hasn't happened. I watched the episode and I was like, it needs more titles. And it didn't. So, So I don't know much about the build up to each of the matches, as I've proven with my lack of knowledge of wrestlers that have gone up to the main roster in the last few weeks. I don't even know, and I have had a quick scout round. I don't even know the wrestlers that have been for these shows.
Right. Okay. For the Rumbles.
So I know I didn't know Rusev had won the US title until I saw a random thing pop up on, was it social media? Was it social media, or had I just gone onto one of my wrestling? But I saw Rusev and I was like, what is going on here? And then I saw that Finn Balor was in the world title match, and I was like, that's not, and I was, so I have no idea. So I'm going to ask you for a little bit of background on things.
I'll try my best.
But first we go into one that neither of us have much of an idea about, which is the Cruiserweight title match.
Yes, so out of these 4 wrestlers, the only one I can confidently say I've seen wrestle is Buddy Murphy, and that's because I seem to remember he won the title against Cedric Alexander in Saudi Arabia, and then I think he defended it in the last pay-per-view, which was Survivor Series against Mustafa Ali. And since then, obviously, Mustafa Ali's then had a push on mainstream on SmackDown. So
I did see about that Mustafa Ali's push. I didn't watch the second Saudi Arabia show because I am a social justice warrior.
And I have no morals, so I can fill you in on that if you need to.
But no, I didn't see that, but I have seen all the other matches. I think Buddy Murphy's really good. He was on NXT. He is the boyfriend, at least, if not husband, of Alexa Bliss.
Did not know that. Lucky man.
Yes, because before she came up to the main roster, she was in like a Freddy Krueger cosplay style outfit, managing Buddy Murphy and another guy who's still on NXT as part of a 3-man stable now called the Forgotten Sons. and they were very meh. They'd had I think they'd had a small amount of success, like a few title chances before I went watching NXT, but they were really a pretty much a jobber team by the time I watched it.
Well, obviously, so Buddy, I kind of know. I don't know much about the other three guys. If you do.
So I might be wrong about this because, as I said, I'm not a massive New Japan watcher, but I believe Hideo Itami was Kenta.
Right.
In New Japan, he was massive over there, I believe. He came over to WWE, was in NXT doing well. He's very injury prone. He's quite old. He's had quite a high impact style, so he's sort of falling apart a bit, but he's still good for a good match. And he seems to be fairly injury free at the moment. I don't know if he's changed something up in his style or anything, because I haven't seen anything from him since he went to 205 Live.
Cool. Tozawa?
But no.
What about Tozawa?
So Tozawa is he was in the I've forgotten his name now. We talked about it before we started this part. No. That's Kalisto. It was Shaved Head. He was in the stable with Apollo Crews and.
Oh mate, I told you the name before and I can't remember it.
He was in that group.
Titus O'Neil.
When he was Titus O'Neil, that's it. And Titus O'Neil when he was challenging for the cruiserweight title. Who had it? I think it was again. Yeah. This is me. Welcome to my podcast. Me forgetting names. Who was the first cruiserweight champion? Was it him?
Don't know.
It wasn't him. It was someone else. He was in that. He was in that for a bit on Raw. I haven't seen a massive amount of him. He seems all right. He seems decent in the ring. He's just, when I've seen him, he hasn't had much of a personality. And last is Kalisto, who was in the Lucha. Wasn't Lucha House Party? Lucha Dragons. That's it. And with Sin Cara, and they had an okay run. They never won the titles, but they had a few matches challenging for titles, and they were all right. And then they split them up on a brand for no reason. After they created 205 Live in the cruiserweight division, they then split these two guys up and set them to separate brands. Where one of them wasn't in. I think it was Sin Cara was on SmackDown and wasn't in the 205 Live. Whereas Kalisto was in, but now they're both in 205 Live, I believe. Yeah, it's all. I don't know. I can't see past Buddy Murphy.
I would agree with you, given that I don't know the other three are.
I'm still annoyed they took off Cedric Alexander, who I was a big fan of, and I said should have kept it past WrestleMania. But Buddy Murphy he's doing the business. They seem to be really high on him. So I think he'll keep it for now.
Keep it up to WrestleMania at least, you think?
Yeah, hopefully. But, you never know. I'm going to point out at this point that for pretty much all of our predictions are the same.
Unfortunately, we've got reasons though. We've got good reasons for them to be the same.
But if you listen to us, you're going to hear a lot of I believe this, and then the other one of us going I agree.
True.
It's not. We haven't had a discussion before and gone, this is what's going to happen. This is what happen. We just apparently.
But is that
the same thing?
Is it because it's quite a bland card then? Do you think that everything's so straightforward? Unfortunately.
I don't know. It's obvious that plans have already been set in motion towards WrestleMania. Probably more than nearly any Rumble I can remember.
True.
Everything I believe, apart from the men's Royal Rumble, is fairly cut and dry, and has sort of been set for a while.
Yeah,
before.
I agree.
So the men's Royal Rumble is the only thing that I'm confused by, but that's because I don't watch Raw or SmackDown, so I don't know who's being pushed at the moment and who's not. So. But yeah, let's move on to the other match in the pre-show. Can I point out that I've been campaigning to take the Cruiserweight title for pre-show and put it on the main show. And they did in Saudi Arabia where I didn't watch it. And then every other Cruiserweight match has been on the pre-show.
Yeah.
And these guys are consistently putting in one of the best matches on the card and they're not being rewarded for it. And I moaned about this. I moaned about this last wrestling podcast I did, and I'm going to moan about it now. And I'll probably moan about it again next week. But if you're not rewarding these guys for work they're putting in, why are they going to carry on putting in that work? Because they've reached that level now. There's no hope for, because they're not going to get a world title shot from it, and 205 Live isn't being elevated.
True.
So why?
Yeah, true. I suppose it's just time, innit? I end up with a 5-hour show if you start dropping every match into that, and they put the pre-show on free for people to get onto WWE Network. Don't know that's how they do it. Try and get people in. They just put something on the pre-show to get people to watch it, to then pay to watch the main event.
Do we really need a tag team title match and US title match on this show?
Isn't the US title being stuck on the pre-show as well?
It is on the pre-show as well. But do we need all these? Get the world titles on. So the men's and women's world titles, fine. We don't need 4 world titles for the main show. 6 if you count TNA and 205 Live. But
Survivor Series, they chucked the tag team
have
title.
the world title matches, and that's it.
Survivor Series, they threw the SmackDown tag team title show match onto the pre-show, didn't they? So they could do that again.
Well, that's a whole other cluster.
Yeah.
That I won't moan about this time.
Fine. No worries.
So the next match is US title match.
Yes.
Which is Shinsuke Nakamura challenging Rusev.
You see, come on, you'll go first.
I was going to say, I was surprised when Rusev won the title. It's something that I wanted for a little while, but I had felt like they weren't pulling the gun on Rusev, pulling trigger on him. Simply, it seemed like maybe he's in a doghouse for the issue with Greatest Royal Rumble.
Yeah, true.
Where he made a joke on Twitter about being buried.
True. Yeah, it could have been that. I mean,
but
they had to take the title off of Nakamura. That's the thing, because it's just been dreadful since he won it. He's just had such a. I bet there can't ever have been a wrestler to have won the Royal Rumble and 12 months later be challenging for the US title on the pre-show.
But his whole WWE run has been bad, and I'm sure I said it in at some point last year, if it was in a podcast or if it was when I was doing these in article form, that I'm sure I said, maybe it was after, I can't remember. I said that I hadn't been impressed with Shinsuke, and I was waiting to be impressed because he came in with such a reputation, and just nothing. We had the match with AJ at WrestleMania, which was it was all right, I guess.
It was decent.
And then they started the hitting him in the balls storyline, which just...
This is it. He's been face and heel in 12 months, and neither's worked for him. Because when he came in last year, everybody loved it. You know, he came in with a huge pop, and he was and then he's gone heel, and it's just been terrible. And he's, like I said, I don't know where he goes next. I really don't, and that's why I can't see Rusev dropping the title to him. Because Rusev, again, I watched the last year's Royal Rumble again the other day, bits of it, and Rusev is so hot at that Royal Rumble because he comes out with Aiden English. The crowd love him, and you just think there's no way they now take that title off him. I just can't see it. They need to push him up even more if possible.
Yeah, but would you not, having seen how over he was with Aiden English, would you not have thought, nah, there's no way they split those two up?
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
And yet here we are.
I know, it's nuts. They should never have split them up. Never have split them up. Because English was never good enough to hold a one-on-one fight, so there was never going to be a big battle between them two. But it was great as a manager friend. You know, it was so good. He came out, everybody loved it. He got the whole Rusev Day thing, you know. He got such a push, and then they just killed it like that. It's bizarre.
The problem with it was that they didn't pull the trigger on it when at the point where they should have pulled the trigger. And then they missed that chance, and I think they felt like they didn't really have much of a choice because these guys should have had the tag team titles, or at least Rusev have the United States title and have English come out every show and here is your brilliant champion Rusev Day and all this stuff.
Yeah,
they should have pulled the trigger on something, and they didn't. They tried to ride the wave too long, and I think the wave had broken.
Yeah, you're right. I would agree with that.
Yeah, they messed it up.
But I don't see, like I said before, I don't see now where Nakamura goes. He's other than away from WWE.
His contract will nearly be up, isn't it?
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, you'd think so. And you can't see him signing on to do what? Just to every now and again challenge for the US title. You know.
But then is that not part of it to do with him? Because I can understand the issues of okay, what have I been given creatively? Rah. And then the issues of, it's just, again, as I mentioned earlier, it's his second language, so that causes issue with his promos. That's fine. Yeah. But then we know he's good enough to go out there and do them and pull off the matches, but he hasn't. He hasn't even done that. He's had okay pay-per-view matches at best, and that's only one or two of them.
Yeah.
He hasn't performed. So is it that he has given up and he's gone, you know what, I'm getting this money. I've done enough harm to myself with my style in Japan. I'm just going to sit here and take the cash. If so, then surely if they offered him another contract,
he'd just take it.
Just go, yeah, sure. I'll wander around your whole shows for another year.
Yeah, maybe he could be right. I mean, you'd like to think not, wouldn't you? You'd like to think not, but he could be right. It could just be literally seeing it through now, paydays all the way through. It's just a shame, really, because when he comes over, like I said, when he came in, he was huge. You know, he was a big sign, he was a big name. Maybe they should have dropped him the title. instead of just losing to Styles every pay-per-view for 6 months or 3 months. Maybe should have gave him the title so he got the title.
I thought the heel turn was the point where they were going to give him the title.
Yeah, that could have been the thing.
I thought, okay, they're going to give it to him, and he's going to notch it up. He's going to be given something decent by creative. He's going to, now pull it out of the bag, and it just never happened.
No, it didn't.
We've seen it over here. Sorry to put a UK reference in, which when talking about a mainly American thing, but we've seen it over here with footballers.
Yeah.
With like Jack Wadwell is the latest.
Yeah.
Version of it, but like guys like Wayne Bridge at Man City, they said, "Oh no, he's just happy to take a paycheck every night and just not do it."
Was it Winston Bogart at Chelsea? Signed a 4-year contract on £50,000 a week, and after the first year, never played another game, and he refused to leave. So what he did was he literally just moved back to Holland, and they kept paying him his wages. He never came and trained. That was it, and he retired at the end of his 4-year deal.
Yes.
Crazy.
Why not? If you offer me that, I'll take it.
Exactly. Why would you say no? Actually, mate, I'm gonna get off and sign for somebody else on 30 grand a week less.
Yeah, I know as fans, we don't get it and nothing else, but it's when it becomes a job, doesn't it?
That's it.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, that is it.
With a slight difference on Rodwell, because aren't Sunderland in financial trouble?
They were, but I mean, Rodwell's on 65 grand a week contract, and they offered him about £4 million to rip his contract up, but I think his contract was worth about 7, and he refused to take it basically. So Sunderland's ever not playing him, so he just sat there in the reserves for like 18 months, and then eventually they paid him like $5 million and he walked away.
How is he not good enough to play in League One? How is that happening?
He's at Blackburn now, no?
Because he was good enough to play in the Premier League.
It's because of what happened with his wages, and they say he refused to play. He says he didn't. He says he just wanted his money, that they wouldn't play him anyway, so they paid him off. I think he finally got, like I said, $5 million. He went free agent, and then I was doing a job at Everton, and he was there training. I was like, "Is that Jack Rodwell?" They're like, "Yeah, he's here training." And then he signed for Blackburn now, so he's playing at Championship now for Blackburn Rovers.
Oh well.
There you go. That's it's one for the American listeners.
Brilliant. Anyway,
but Rusev.
Does the US title mean anything anymore?
It's just something for SmackDown to have, because they haven't got the Intercontinental, isn't it?
But like the Intercontinental, it means something. It partly meant something because of what the Miz did. He really brought some prestige back to it. But what does the US? It's always been the B title to the Intercontinental, of course, because it's WCW's title, not WWE's title. But it's at its lowest. It's always on the pre-show at the moment, if it's being defended at all. It hasn't been defended on a pay-per-view for ages, for pretty much Shinsuke's whole feud since Jeff Hardy dropped.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think it's such a poor. It is literally, I think, what I said. On Raw, you have the main heavyweight title, and you have the Intercontinental. On SmackDown, you've got the WWE title and nothing. So they needed something else for 8 to 10 guys to have something that they can somehow compete for it, and that's it really. There's nothing else. It's just for them, so there's another title they can put on the SmackDown show.
It's a shame, because it's had one of my favourite feuds was back in the day, Matt Hardy versus MVP.
All right, yeah, MVP.
When they had the best of 7 series for the US title, and that was a brilliant feud. Because they're doing the arm wrestling, and it was like a basketball match, stuff like that, and it was funny, but it was also good TV, and they were both decent wrestlers. I
suppose it is what you make of it.
But it's
that's the thing.
Yeah, and then it was being being defended by Fit Finlay and Winnie Regal and guys, but it's just now it doesn't seem to have meant anything for a few years since John Cena had the open challenge with it. Yeah. It doesn't mean anything now.
No, it's a shame. But I don't know what you do. Like I said, maybe they've got to somehow revamp it. Maybe they do that. Maybe they take it off Rusev eventually and put it up for like I don't know, some kind of competition, or make it worth something. If you get that, you get a shot for the mate. I don't know. You need to do something that makes it a bit more valuable.
Maybe they'll just do what they've done with every other title over the last few years, and they'll get rid of it and then bring it back looking exactly the same as the Intercontinental title. Yeah. Just with a different colour strap.
Exactly. That will be what we'll do.
Because that's all the titles have to look exactly the same now. So.
True. Apart from Brock's. Brock doesn't, does it? Oh yeah, they've changed his, haven't they? Yeah, he does now, doesn't it? Yeah, he's just.
Yeah, it's a red version of a WWE title.
Very true. Yeah, I forgot about that. Because he had the WCW belt, didn't he? That was the heavyweight. It was the old Booker T one.
The big gold belt, my favourite ever title belt.
The Booker T belt.
That is just a beautiful belt. honestly, whenever I used to play SmackDown versus Raw, that was always the title I'd go for. I'd always be SmackDown. That's why that's why when I first started watching it, Batista had the big gold belt, and he looked so good with it. Honestly.
Yeah.
And that was when Cena had the spinny WWE title, which I don't hate as much as most fans seem to.
No, it didn't bother me.
But yeah, that belt started my love of why I prefer SmackDown over feuds with like Jeff Hardy CM Punk feud.
Yeah,
that was so good.
CM Punk, what's he doing now?
He's
so didn't he stop
doing comic books now, hasn't he?
Is it?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
He signed a big deal to draw and write his own comic book.
There you go. He learns every day.
He never needs to come back to wrestling now. He's done. He's fine.
Yeah, true.
It's a shame, but you know.
All right. Well,
as we said earlier.
Yeah, Rusev. Anyway, I will stake my neck on.
Yes, I think we've made it quite clear how we felt about Nakamura's WWE run and how up we are on Rusev.
Yeah, definitely.
So I would very much like to see a proper Rusev crush come back and just start destroying people.
Yeah.
Even as a face, but him just literally brutalise him. Have him destroy a few, not jobbers, but some of the lower card guys. Have him destroy. I mean, as in like when I say not jobbers, I mean not.
Yeah.
You know,
not Seth
Steve,
Rollins.
A local indie wrestler. But guys that are names, but not guys that are going to push.
Yeah.
So like your Zack Ryders and stuff.
Yeah.
Have him literally just destroy him in the ring. Just beat him up. Do that for a few weeks, even a few months. Just him going through people and then start putting him on proper titles.
No, I agree. It's a good idea.
That's what I'll do. That's when he's at his best. But so next is the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Chris, what has happened? Why?
It's just
why are we in this situation?
It's weird. It's such a strange thing that's been going on again since Saudi Arabia, when Shane McMahon for some reason became the greatest in the world. Him and the Miz had a weird.
In the World Cup tournament that only featured American wrestlers.
That is the one, yeah. Very much like the World Series of baseball. It's been bizarre ever since then. It's literally the Miz has had this weird thing. Every week he'd be like speaking to Shane, wants to be in a tag team. Shane push him away. Eventually they agreed to be in a tag team. They've had a couple of weird matches with they've won. But all the way through there's kind of something just niggling underneath. I'm convinced that something's going to happen where these two will end up, like the Miz will turn on Shane or something. After it's all been a big ruse, he'll turn on him in this match and beat him up, and then it sets up a match at WrestleMania for the Miz v Shane McMahon.
I don't know. You know what? This is just kind of thing, and like I'll put it out now. But we've both gone for the bar to win this.
Yeah.
However, it would not surprise me if they turn around and did something really stupid, like giving the belts to the Miz and McMahon.
Just like I said,
and let them have it up until WrestleMania.
I think the bar will win, and Miz will turn on Shane at the end because he'll be that angry that he hasn't won the belt. That something will happen, he'll turn and he'll do something and storm off, and that'll set up. Otherwise, I just think that's the match they'll have at WrestleMania. So WrestleMania match, Shane McMahon will want a match at WrestleMania. I don't think he'll want a tag team match because I mean the tag team division is terrible. Putting them two in it makes it even worse, in my opinion. So I think it's just to set these two up to have a match at WrestleMania.
But does it not? So my worry about this is the Miz is great as a character, but he's okay in the ring. He's decent in the ring, but he's not brilliant. I feel that Shane McMahon needs someone to either be A, mental and hardcore, or B, a brilliant technical wrestler, or C, a mix of both.
Yeah.
And Miz is neither of those things. Miz isn't going to throw him through a gimmicked glass window like Kurt Angle did.
True. Unless they make it.
Is he going to jump off anything high onto it? He's not. And Miz isn't good enough to carry him through a match. I think it would be. And
there is one way.
There is one
way it's good enough. If you make it a hardcore match, and then you can smash him with a chair. You know, if you put stuff in there, so it's not just. I think that's what it'll have to be. Like you just said, for all those reasons you just said, the match should have to have some kind of gimmick, like a chair match or a table match or something like that. Because then you will get Shane jumping off the top rope through a table. You'll get him doing the trash can thing, coast to coast. You know, that is how you do it. I reckon that's the only way I can see is it'll have some kind of gimmick. That means that the Miz can use weapons to make it more bloody.
But the Miz isn't a big hardcore wrestler. If it was like Jeff Hardy, then I go, yeah, cool, that works because Jeff Hardy will jump off things and he can jump off it and he can hit him with whatever he wants because Jeff Hardy's not like anyone else,
True.
not like us.
No,
He's
no,
not
no.
sane.
Yeah, that's true, but
I can't see it.
I just think
I don't know.
you don't just remember that he's a McMahon and he'll want WrestleMania to be about him. And if he can jump off a table, if he can jump off the top rope through a table or go coast to coast to a trash can, then he'll write that storyline for himself.
Yeah. Like what I guess I mean to say is I hope it doesn't happen because I think that would be the WrestleMania card where WrestleMania match everyone goes, nah, I'm right. This is the new toilet break.
Yeah, well, your options
True.
Your options are that, or that they're defending the tag team titles. That's your two options that come from it. Because otherwise, what's the point in them being in this match? They're either setting up a singles match or they're winning the belts.
Thing is, I can see them doing it. I can see them giving them the tag team titles. Like they made him the best in the world.
I know, bizarre.
Remember this? They made Shane McMahon win the tournament to become the best in the world. So I don't think they won't give him the tag team title.
But I think they gave him. I think that whole thing was for this. I think it's all for this.
No, that whole thing was. I think that was for something different. That was for another storyline. That was with someone else.
Really? I didn't know that.
I'm sure I read at the time that there was a different plan that got shelved because of something. I can't remember. I think the same as I think what you think is going to happen, but I think that Shane McMahon will be the heel.
Really?
And Miz will be the face. Yeah.
Miz is just a better heel, though.
He is, and they always new to him when they make him a face. But I think that's the way they're going to go.
Okay.
They split up, have a quick match at Elimination Chamber. That's still a thing, right? That's the next pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Then Miz goes on to face the winner of the WWE title match, who we'll discuss in a bit.
Okay, cool.
There you go. That didn't give away any predictions for later on in the podcast, did it?
The bar then.
That's what I think is going to happen.
2 ticks for the bar.
And then Miz will be the face against the possible heel champion in that match.
Cool.
Cool. Moving on, we've got the start of the first of our 4 world title matches. The Raw Women's. I've gone with the Raw Women's title first. Sasha Banks versus Ronda Rousey. This is another really random one. This is the one where I sort of went, really?
Yeah.
I presume they've just done the thing where Sasha is suddenly really good after being rubbish for about 2 years.
They did the thing where she was on Alexa Bliss's fake chat show, was Rousey, and they said, "Who do you want to face?" And she went, "Well, the one woman who I respect, who has done everything over the last 18 months, is Sasha. And I want to fight her at Royal Rumble." So they made that fight. So she came out, and at first they were nice, and then as they have done with everything, they've kind of got a bit more bitchy as the weeks have gone by. And it's just kind of all leading to Rousey winning and marching on to WrestleMania, where we all know who she'll face.
Are you trying to tell me that WWE have written a bitchy female character?
That's the one.
Because that doesn't sound like them.
No, unbelievable, isn't it?
That doesn't sound like the way Vince sees all women.
I know. But it was the same story. It's like, oh, we're all friends. Everything's... It's like when they did a Rousey and one of the Bellas, and they were all best of friends, and then all of a sudden it turned... It's the same storyline. It's exactly the same storylines when she fought her, and it's just going to be
this is
armbar win.
What they want to do with Natty.
Yeah, but I'm not having Natty as I just think she's good enough, unfortunately.
Yeah, but that was the planned storyline. That before her dad died,
really?
The plan was for her to turn on Rousey, probably exactly the same as this.
Yeah, it just didn't work, and I just think I can't see anything other than a winning and then turning up a bit later on in the program.
It seems to me like it's a filler match to keep Rousey busy.
I think this is every chance. I think there's every chance this is the first match of the show.
Yeah.
Because I think there's stuff that might develop later on.
Royal Rumble.
I think that. I think that might be the last match. Women's Royal Rumble. Yeah, I do. I think because of who I think will win it, which we'll get onto. It'll be the last.
Yeah.
Will be the last match. I think one of the 2 women's matches will be the first, and I think it will be the Raw one.
If would it not make more sense to have a SmackDown Women's title? And let's just talk about both matches at the same time, because we obviously both believe they are completely interlinked.
Yeah, I do.
Would it not make more sense to have the women's title match first if who you believe is going to win the women's Royal Rumble?
The only reason I'd say no to that is because I mean, just guessing, I think. But I think if you have the Raw Women's title match first, Rousey wins that, her title's safe, that's done with. the SmackDown Women's title thing, Rousey can then come out and affect the decision of that match, knowing that nothing can come back on her match. You know, she's done. She's won her game. She can then come out and cost Lynch her title, and there's no comeuppance for her. Nothing can be done because she's not in the Rumble. She's already won her title, and then obviously that's why I think Lynch will then turn up later on in the night.
Yeah, that makes some sense, I guess.
If you put the SmackDown Women's title match first and Rousey comes out and costs Lynch the title, then when you have the Raw Women's title match, surely Lynch would then come out and cost Rousey the title. And
See, I don't think, because you're going on the basis that Rousey is costing Lynch here.
Yeah.
I think it's Flair that's costing Lynch.
Really?
And then Flair, then Lynch goes after Flair, because you've got to work Charlotte Flair into this somehow.
Yeah.
So, and she's tonight she's literally just, or tomorrow night she's going to literally just be in the Rumble, or tonight because it's tomorrow. So doesn't it make sense for her to come out and cost Becky Lynch the match?
Yeah, that's a good shout actually.
And
yeah.
Becky Lynch goes into Rumble to get her.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that works just as well. Could see that happening.
Yeah, so it's quite obvious that we're both going for Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's title and Asuka for the SmackDown Women's title.
I do. I think why give her the title? She needs to have a big run now for me, because there's going to be so much going on with the other three that I just think let Asuka take it. Let her have somebody else come up who's a new opponent. You know, give her somebody she's going to face every week, or you don't have to be Flair, it doesn't have to be Lynch. It can be somebody new. So I just think let her keep the title, let the others go off and do what they've got to do, and then see who else can step up from the women's division.
See, this is sort of very similar to Aleister Black's position in NXT. Is that Asuka is almost the afterthought in this, because no one. And while I'm very excited for this match, this is one of my most. This is sort of up there with rules for how much I want to it. It's. Asuka's not what everyone's thinking about. Everyone's thinking about how they're going to build towards Lynch versus Rousey at WrestleMania.
Exactly.
And that storyline, that's going to overshadow everything.
Yeah, true. I think it'll be 3 at WrestleMania. It'll be Flair, Lynch, Rousey.
Yeah, in some form of hardcore triple threat match.
Yeah, I think so.
I will say this. I know you disagree with me slightly on this. That I think Becky Lynch and Asuka are the two best women on the roster.
Yeah, I just think there's 3 of them. I just think Flair's, and I just think Charlotte Flair's well up there with them all. I think she's got everything.
I think Flair's great. I think maybe part of my issue with her is she's been neutered somewhat by being this a face character for so long, and I know they've tried to give her a bit more of an edge, a Becky Lynch-esque edge. But again, that's just come off as her copying Becky Lynch.
Yeah, they have tried
for it to work. She's got to go, and she may have gone, but you got to go full blown heel for her.
Yeah, I'd like to see that, because she has changed. She's changed the look on SmackDown last few weeks. You know, she's not coming out in the big gowns as much. You can see she's trying to be a bit more bitchy and stuff like that. So maybe that, like I was saying earlier, maybe that's why she will come in to cost Lynch the title, with Lynch being so popular.
Yeah, that's the heel turn, and then they go on to have the.
Yeah.
I want to point out that while we're talking about these 3 as the best women, I think Ronda Rousey's been brilliant since she's come in.
I agree.
Far better than I ever expected she would be. Because I've seen MMA guys get involved in the past. I think TNA had a few in, and they always look quite clunky, as if they were really worried about hurting someone.
Yeah. No, I think she's been great. Really good.
She's signalled in the rest of these and all these MMA women, but she's also that's the signal for guys like Matt Riddle to get involved. And people could say about Brock Lesnar, but he was wrestling before he was MMA, so it's completely different. Yeah. But no, this seems to be the signal for these combat sports guys and girls who seem to have a natural affinity for wrestling to come in. Yeah. So yeah, I think she needs credit for what she's done, because I think she's been brilliant and she's held the title really well as well. And even get a good match out of what's her name, Bella,
yeah, Nikki Bella, was it? Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. I agree. She's been out of her. She's done well.
She's improving on mic and stuff like that as well. You know, she was poor originally, but she's just every time she's just getting better and better. So which is fair play to her.
The only issue is her. Are you ready before doing big moves? However, I think they should make that a thing.
As if like, are you ready for this? Yeah.
Yeah. Are you ready? Because you can't stop what I'm about to do.
It's a good idea.
Boom.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
No.
So let's move on to the 2 world title matches, the men's world title matches. First, the Universal title, Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar. This is the third match that confused me.
Yeah, I bet if you've not watched Raw, you must have thought Finn Balor.
Yeah, last I saw the last shows I watched the Raw and the SmackDown. Did I even watch SmackDown? No, I just watched the Raw after TLC. That was the last program I watched because they promised big changes, and I watched it, and it was literally the same old.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm all right, guys.
Yeah.
You carry on doing you, and I'll come back for Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And that's it. So yeah, what happened? Why is Braun not in?
Well, obviously Braun did his elbow, didn't he? Probably 6, 7 weeks, maybe longer than that now, 2 months ago. So he missed out on the last pay-per-view. Oh no, he fought Baron Corbin, didn't he? Because he was injured, he got lots of other people to come in and win the match for him. I don't think.
Yeah, the weird finish where Heath Slater was the ref. And
yeah, it was weird. Everybody who had Corbin had beef with basically came out and dished it out to him. So he didn't compete. He's not really competed fully. He's come back. I reckon they've said to him, look, you're in no fit state to be able to go into a match with Brock. So what happened was Corbin came out and said some rubbish at him as in the ring. He chases him to the back. There's a stretch limo there. He's looking round. Corbin's in the limo. So Strowman smashes the window, is trying to get in. Corbin jumps out, runs away. Vince McMahon turns up. That's my limo. What are you doing? Who do you think you are? He gives him a bit of back chat. So he says, that's it, $100,000 fine, and you're not competing at the Royal Rumble for you've lost your title shot. In which he then flips the limousine onto its roof somehow from about 4 camera angles so that you can't see the machinery. And then that's how he's lost his shot. So now he's going to have to be in the Rumble. And then they were like, right, well, who's going to face Brock Lesnar? So I think it was Cena came out, Drew McIntyre came out, maybe Seth Rollins, was it? And Balor came out. There was 4 of them. They had a fatal 4-way. Balor wins it. Balor gets the title shot.
So this is sort of a main. And I know he got the token title shot against Roman Reigns, which we all knew he wasn't going to win. And spoilers here, neither of us think he's going to win this one either.
No.
But
it was the first ever Universal title holder.
This is what he's sort of been owed, the proper title shot on a proper pay-per-view, a chance at the title that he never lost.
Yeah.
So here you go. Is he coming out as the demon?
No.
If he's just going to lose to Brock Lesnar?
No, he's not coming as a demon. He said he's coming out as Finn Balor. And basically, they did this thing this week on Raw where Vince McMahon came out and did this big. It's David v Goliath. It's the small man v the big man to make you think that they're going to let him win. You know, trying to build it up so he has no chance of winning, but you know the secret they're going to make him win. I just don't see it. I don't see there's any way that Finn Balor beats Brock Lesnar. If anything.
Well, definitely not. If they said, he's coming out as a demon, he's bringing him out.
Yeah.
If they've actually said he's not coming out as a demon, then that's it. He's done. They're not going to let generic Finn Balor beat Brock Lesnar. Not in a million years.
No, I can't see it at all. And if anything, I think you might even see Strowman come out, maybe smash Lesnar up, so Lesnar wins by DQ. So Balor keeps a bit of respect that he's not lost the match, because it's not his fault. And then it sets up if Strowman goes on to win the Rumble. I think that's the match. Strowman, Lesnar to WrestleMania.
Okay, cool. Moving on. Let's talk about the WWE title picture with AJ Styles challenging woke Daniel Bryan. Are you enjoying Daniel Bryan's heel turn?
Yeah, I am actually, because I didn't enjoy him before the heel turn. So I was never into the old yes, yes, yes chanting. I suppose it wasn't really for my age range, that. But yeah, it's good. It's funny. You know, it's different. It's funny. I think SmackDown's been stagnant with Styles for so long. You know, he's a great wrestler. And when he came into WWE, you thought brilliant. But then he's held the title and just beating everybody. But it's just the same match. Whoever he's fought, it's the same match. You know, it's not been good for him. I think he needs a change. I think he loses this, and then maybe he goes away for a little bit and comes back as a new beef with somebody else. You know, I don't know, but it's just not. He looks tired. He looks like he's just done it for too long. Too many house shows, too many SmackDowns, too many pay-per-views headlining it all, the same thing over and again. Whereas Daniel Bryan now, you can see he's got the taste for it again. You can just see there's something in his eyes that he's really enjoying being a heel, which I think is a good thing. It's a good thing.
I agree. I think Brian hadn't been helped. He hadn't really got off the ground with his comeback. Maybe too much hype going into it because we're in 2 years and for him to come back at least.
Yeah, I'd say 2 years.
So apparently the heel turn is something that he really pushed for. He was really keen on, and of course he's got, and we've seen it. Seen it work. I was never really a yes movement guy. I liked Daniel Bryan. I was never a passionate Bryan fan. I'm really enjoying the heel turn. I think the problem with Styles is that he was the only guy that really had the pedigree to hold that title. We held it for too long.
Yeah.
If you ask me, I would have dropped it to Samoa Joe.
Yeah, I like Joe.
I'm a big Joe fan. He's good. And he moves really well for a big guy, as I mentioned earlier, while having a go at the War Raiders. But he moves really well. He's a bit older now. He spent most of his career in TNA. Probably in an ideal world, he would have come over a bit earlier.
Yeah.
But no, he's really good, and I'm a big fan. But in this match, I can't see him giving it back to Styles for reasons that both of us have said. That Styles was he had it for too long. It's just a bit obvious and a bit repetitive.
He just seems tired. I just think it just seems like it just needs a break or a change or just something different. You know. Yeah,
because he was the second longest reigning champion in the company behind Pete Dunne, who's had his title for nearly 2 years.
Wow.
I think there's Pete Dunne. I don't know how much you know about NXT UK.
No.
But he has been the WWE United Kingdom champion for nearly 2 years.
Wow. That's tonight as well, isn't it? They're doing a takeover tonight, aren't they? NXT UK doing a takeover in Liverpool, isn't it?
No, wasn't that? I think it might have. I think that was a few weeks ago.
Oh, was it? Right.
I think it was the 14th.
Nah, I didn't know that. Sorry, my bad.
As in, they did one in Blackpool.
That was it, Blackpool. Yes, you're right. Yeah, that was the one. I didn't see the date on it. I just presumed it was this weekend.
No. It was one. I have no idea because again, that's one I haven't been keeping up with NXT. I haven't been keeping up with NXT UK. And with all fairness, the first episodes I watched weren't brilliant, which is a shame because I know a lot of these guys. I really like a lot of these guys. Guys like British Strong Style, which is Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, and what's his name, Trent Seven. They're really good. And I was really sad because they won the NXT tag team titles and then dropped it pretty much the next night to Undisputed Era, and I was really sad because they're really good. But I know I just haven't been massively impressed with it so far. But yeah, I will get back into it, give it a go. But yeah, how we've got from AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan talking about a UK tag team that wrestle part-time for WWE, I don't know. But yeah, Daniel Bryan is going to win.
I would agree, definitely. Cool.
Let's do the Women's Royal Rumble first.
Fine.
Simply because I've actually written something about the Women's Rumble. I haven't written anything nearly about the men.
Okay.
So we both had the same person for this, as we've had the same person for every match so far. So I've changed my pick. Based on something we said. And I'm going to say the picks first because I haven't got a massive amount more to say about the Rumbles, really. You might have a bit more having watched Raw and SmackDown. Okay. I think, and this is going to be controversial, and I'm sticking my neck out here, I have picked, because I think Becky Lynch is going to win, but I have picked Ember Moon to be different. Okay.
Well, so that'll make sense. From what you were saying earlier that about Ember Moon and Asuka having beef before, maybe that would be a way of making that match for WrestleMania. This is what I'm going for. So the first match of the night is the SmackDown Women's Title match. Yeah. Flair comes out, costs Becky Lynch. Yeah. So that's that. Asuka's still champion. Now Becky Lynch beats up Carmella, takes her number 30 slot, and comes out at number 30 in the Royal Rumble to try to take out Charlotte Flair. Yeah. But they both lose, possibly as a distraction from Ronda Rousey. And I'm making this up on the fly now. Yeah, a lot of this. But yeah, they're out there in the ring. Rousey's music hits. They are suddenly shocked because, it's music. And Ember Moon gets them both out, and Ember Moon wins. So she's now going on for an attempt to redeem herself against Asuka, which is taking on a match from NXT and bringing that to the main roster. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Now Flair and Lynch are angry. Okay, I'm looking at the show notes now as Chris has added an interesting name to his final four. So Lynch and Flair both angry. They then they can't cost her a match, can they? Because that ruins everything. Yeah. Maybe they try and get involved
and she fights them off and still wins, or maybe they go out and just attack her and
Yeah.
she gets DQ'd and retains that way.
Possible.
Oh,
So so many
well, I'm not too sure.
permutations.
Spanner in my own plan. This is the problem with changing your ideas in the middle of doing a podcast.
As we've been talking, I've been changing my picks all the way through.
So you've gone for Becky Lynch.
I do. I was saying to you, I just think that something will happen in Becky's match that will mean that she won't be champion. She will then have to go into the Rumble to get the shot to fight Rousey at WrestleMania, and she will win it because she is the biggest thing at the minute in the WWE. She's just massive, you know. She's since turning up on Raw before Survivor Series and getting her face smashed in and blood everywhere. Since then, she's gone through the sky. I just think, like you said, she'll come in late, maybe number 30, number 29. She'll come in, music will hit, they'll go wild. She'll win it, boom. That'll be it. I mean, I picked from the last four that Flair will still be in there at that point, and I also think Nia Jax will be in there because she's she'll be able to get rid of anybody really. But Nia Jax, and then I also thought that maybe I mentioned earlier that Lacey Evans, so there's a new person might be in there at the end as well.
So you've just added. I know you added Lacey Evans in earlier, and you said that, but you've just added Nia Jax. You took out Baszler.
I did. I took out Baszler. I did. I took out. I do think she will be in it, but I don't know. Nia Jax has just been floating around the title scene for so long that I just thought to myself, they'll keep her in there till the end because she is the biggest woman in there, and it's just what WWE do. They'll just keep a big person in there, you know, just somebody in there.
No,
you don't think?
No, you get the biggest person out. The bigger person gets about 10 minutes of throwing a few people around and then everyone goes, screw this, and they all gang up on the big person and get them out.
Unless she comes in at 29. Yeah, true.
So you think that Lacey Evans, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch are going to be enough to get Nia Jax out?
Yeah, definitely. I think you might be something like Charlotte's trying to get her out and somebody sneaks up and throws them both out, you know. Then you end up with Becky and a new woman. You got these two, then, you know, somebody else. Becky wins it. I don't think there's any way that Becky didn't win it. That's it. I just think that's the last match of the show as well. That's how it ends with her.
I don't think Nia Jax is athletic enough to get herself over the top rope.
Yeah, well, that's it. Well, she wins then. There you go. Wins by default.
She'll probably injure Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch falling down. She'll kick them both in the face.
That's it. Yeah.
And I've asked them out past WrestleMania now. It ruins everything. No matter how much I've moaned about wrestlers on the card, Nia Jax is my least favourite. She's just awful, and it gets worse when she talks as well.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Just terrible.
So I've gone for Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Shayna Baszler. My final four alongside Ember Moon. As I said, I think it'll be Lynch, Flair, and Ember last. They'll get distracted by Rousey's music and get thrown over top rope. I'm trying to I'm convincing myself now.
Yeah.
I think Baszler have a strong showing. I think she even might be in fairly early, like within the first 10, and they'll give her that strong showing as a way of saying, right, you're coming up soon, not quite yet, but we're going to give you this strong now, and then, you know, when you come back after WrestleMania, the fans will know who you are.
True.
And then that's it. You take that off.
The other thing I forgot to mention was that Alexa Bliss has said she's competing. She's got a number. So that's another name that might be there at the end, I suppose.
Because she was out with a concussion?
Yeah, she's been out for a while now. So on the last Raw, she said, I'm fighting in the Royal Rumble. So she will be in there as well.
Interesting.
So that's another big character that might be there towards the last 7 or 8, you'd think. I'm just looking at the names they've announced, and apart from that, there's nobody else really you'd expect. Sonya Deville maybe might be there towards the end. But that's about it, really.
Any surprise entrants you think are going to join?
All the classic ones. You might get like Lita, maybe Trish Stratus, something like that. You know, they always throw in a couple of ex-faces, don't they?
Yeah, you know what I think? It may not be a name you've heard of. I think Velvet Sky is going to...
No, I don't know that.
She is a former TNA knockout. She was part of a Beautiful People. No, it's not Velvet Sky I'm thinking of. It's Madison Ray. No. Hey, who am I thinking of? Who am I talking about? Who am I? What was I talking about? No. Is she Velvet Sky? Who is... maybe she's both. There's a very good chance that Madison Rain is her real name. I've got myself all confused. So I think she... Basically, the female wrestler, she's a former knockout in the Beautiful People. She's going to come out... She's also, a little tidbit, Bubba Ray Dudley's girlfriend. She was in the last Mae Young Classic. I think she's going to come out as a surprise wrestler.
Maybe. There will be somebody. There's always somebody where you think, well, where's that come from?
I'm googling Madison Rain now. Yeah, no, it's her.
Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah, Madison Rain. I presume Velvet Sky was the woman she was in The Beautiful People with.
Right.
Anyway, so any other names apart from those two that you think are going to
Not
come in?
really. I mean, retro. They always throw in some old retro names, and because those two were both at was it the last pay-per-view? Yeah, they were, weren't they? That maybe they will probably be in this as well at some point, and last couple of minutes, 3 or 4 minutes each, and then head off to the back with a suitcase full of cash.
Sorry, I'm still googling Madison Rain.
So, mate,
She's her and Velvet Sky are two completely different. I think I've got them mixed up with completely different people. No, Madison Rain was in The Beautiful People with Angelina Love and Velvet Sky. I am very confused. I think a woman that was previously in The Beautiful People is going to show up.
Yeah.
She could be one of several women.
But she'll be there. 23 they've confirmed. So they've confirmed 23 women. So there's 7 people they've not named, basically. So you're looking at people like Lita and then for people from NXT, you'd think.
Yeah. That's the problem with the roster the size they've got. There's not a massive amount of room for the surprises. And that was the main issue I had last year. I didn't think there was enough surprise entrants.
No, I know what you mean.
And I get in the women's one last year, you want to pay tribute to a lot of the former divas.
Yeah.
Get a lot of them back because they didn't have this chance, and that's fine. But I felt the men's also struggled from a lack of surprises. I think a Rumble match is partly made by the surprise entrance.
Yeah, it is. I agree completely.
Like Rey Mysterio coming back 2 years ago, was it?
Yeah.
And then when the Dudley Boys came back, those moments like that.
Yeah.
Makes it.
It does, because you get sick of members of the New Day or Elias, so you want somebody you're not expecting.
Yes, very much.
Cool.
So.
But anyway, so I've gone Becky and you've gone Ember.
I've gone Ember Moon. So the last match on the card, we are nearly finished. We've been sat here for over 2 hours now. Men's Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Who's going to win?
Well, since we've started this podcast the last 2 hours, I've changed my pick probably 4 times, and I've ended up with Braun Strowman. I just think that sets up the match at WrestleMania that they should have had at the Royal Rumble, which is Strowman v Lesnar.
How does he do the match?
Because he comes in late, 28, 29, throws a couple of people. He's capable of throwing a few people over the top. He'll be all right. He competed a bit on Raw. He's not fit enough to do a 30-minute match with Brock Lesnar, but I reckon he can do 6 minutes of throwing Titus O'Neil over the top rope. And I think you'll probably end up with Strowman, McIntyre, Rollins, and I've also put Samoa Joe because they gave him a bit of a push on SmackDown this week. So, and they also gave Randy Orton. Randy Orton came out then and took Samoa Joe out. The last frames of SmackDown this week were Randy Orton standing tall. So you think, but surely he's not going to win it. Surely there's no mileage in Randy Orton getting another WrestleMania pay.
Randy Orton stands tall before every Royal Rumble, doesn't he? Is that just what he does?
Possibly. I think he's won 2, and he was making the gesture of 3 with his fingers, so as if I want a third.
They can't give him a third, surely. Not at this stage in his career.
You sure? I mean, it's big mates to Triple H, isn't it? But surely not. Surely not.
What happens if Becky Lynch takes out Carmella and nicks her number 30, and then Braun Strowman kills R-Truth and takes his number 30, thus making the entire second series of Mixed Match Challenge completely pointless?
It's completely pointless. It's a terrible idea to give them that anyway, I think. It should always be kept a surprise, number 30. They'll not do it on both, though. They'll not do it. I
didn't have an issue with us knowing who it was. I had an issue with it being Carmella and R-Truth because neither of them have any chance of winning either. And I think it'd be really funny if these two people that had no then just get taken out and don't even get to go in. That's the kind of thing Vince would love as well, in the same way that he had the holiday. Oh, what's the holiday we win? Oh no, we're going to Stamford, Connecticut to WWE. That's Vince.
Yeah, well, also why you might see maybe in the Women's Royal Rumble, you'll see R-Truth coming in at number 30, doing his all confused routine.
Oh God, he is.
Yeah, there's always that. But there's always that. You could see that, couldn't you? That is right up that avenue they've been peddling for the last few months. But we'll see. Yes, I know. But yeah, who have you gone for anyway as winner?
I have gone for The Miz And it's a tough one because I don't really know. My lack of watching of main shows has cost me here because I genuinely. And I know you mentioned Rollins is possibly a favourite.
He's the favourite with the book, isn't he?
I can't see it. I can't. I don't want to see another him versus Lesnar match. I can't see them pulling him and Bryan just like randomly together.
No.
So, I can't see Drew McIntyre challenging either. Possibly Joe versus Bryan could be a nice match.
Yeah, could be.
But if Strowman's coming out and getting involved, maybe in the Universal title match and just taking out both guys.
Yeah.
What if he takes out both guys and sets up a triple threat match? Yeah. Are we just having a WrestleMania of triple threat matches?
I don't think Finn Balor. I don't think Finn Balor will be main eventing at WrestleMania.
Or Strowman comes out after the match and takes out Lesnar and says, "You're mine." And then Lesnar goes, "Yeah, well, I'm only getting paid for WrestleMania, so that's why you have to fight me because I don't show up at any other point."
True, very true.
So I think the Miz is going to win it and go on as a face to challenge Daniel Bryan, heel Daniel Bryan, and then so we get the turn, or do they win the tag team titles and they hold it till after WrestleMania, and then Miz goes into WrestleMania to face Daniel Bryan with SmackDown tag team titles and Shane McMahon in his corner.
Surely not.
And then Shane McMahon is in a main event match. It's not going to be the main event match because that's going to be Strowman beating Lesnar, but he's in a main event match.
I don't know.
Cornering the Miz.
I just don't see the Miz winning the Rumble. That's my thing. I just can't see it. I just think you're looking at Strowman Rollins is pushing every week. You know, he's Raw's go-to man. He will be there to death.
I've also got Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, and I can't decide on my last. I'm going to just say Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. It all depends on numbers and stuff, but you'd think so. I would go for them anyway. I mean, you've got these other guys as well. They've got the new people. I mean, I mentioned what we said earlier, EC3, somebody like him. And then I don't know anything. You might know this guy, so I know nothing about him. Lars Sullivan.
Oh, yeah,
they've been running a VT on Raw and SmackDown for about a month of him being the freak and the biggest thing that's going to come to WWE, and he's not appeared on anything, which makes you think, no Rumble number.
Yeah, he's Lars Sullivan again. He wasn't someone I was a big fan of in NXT. He didn't really fit. He's very much a Vince style wrestler and not an NXT style wrestler, if you know what I mean.
Right. Okay.
So he came around. He beat up a few people. His last feud, I think, was with EC3.
Right.
While EC3 accused him of having beaten up Aleister Black, so he beat up EC3 to prove that he didn't beat up Aleister Black. They had a match, and EC3 was out for a bit injured. And that was it. I haven't worn to him particularly, but yeah, hopefully not.
I don't know. I think they have been running this trailer constantly for about 3 or 4 weeks now on both shows of him in a cage, like screaming and shouting. They called him the Freak, and he's never appeared. Whereas EC3's been on, Lacey Evans has been on, that tag team we spoke about earlier have been on, and you just think he's the one person they've previewed and you've not seen him. So maybe he gets a number at the Rumble.
Yeah, but what was the last time they previewed someone for ages? And when we finally saw them, it was a bust. That was Emma, wasn't it? As Emmalina.
Yeah, true.
Do you remember that? It was like a year's worth of promos. And she finally came out and went, "Nah, I'm alright." It's just, what was that?
God knows. But yeah,
any surprise entrant?
There will be. I don't know if that's surprises, but I think. I mean, Bray Wyatt's been off the screen for a long time. Matt Hardy says he's fit now. You could see Matt and Jeff both been in. Sami Zayn back, possibly. Kevin Owens, they've not been on TV for months now. So you think maybe they'll get a shout. Kane will definitely be in there. Just for his pyros. I mean, the one person I'd love to see, and it'll not happen, will be The Undertaker. But, yeah, big show maybe.
I've got Batista down, simply because I think they're building towards Triple H versus Batista at WrestleMania.
Yeah, you could be right there. That'd be good.
I think you're coming because I watched SmackDown 1000.
Yeah, he made that comment.
And he's like, "Oh, you've never beaten me," and there's like, and then there's that sort of tension you got there, and I was like, "Now he's going to come back in the Royal Rumble, and like Triple H is going to come out and cost him or something." And then because apparently as well, he's booked 4 months off at the start of this year, where he's got no movies to record.
Really, didn't know that.
So it just seems a little too convenient for me.
It's a good shout.
I'm a big Batista fan. I think he's brilliant, and I felt he was hard done by in his last run. So I like him to come back for one more run where he's not, where fans aren't turning against him because he's not Daniel Bryan, and he can actually go have that sort of feud with Triple H, beat Triple H, and then go, cool, that's it, I'm done with wrestling now, I'll move on.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That's just, it could be. It's good. That will be a surprise as well. Definitely be a surprise. Cena is the other one, obviously, that he's suddenly turned up on TV again, but now apparently he might be injured. But
Cena showing up for a big paycheck before he goes back off to do rubbish movies and stuff.
You could see his music hitting for a 5-minute cameo, couldn't you? But if it comes, I just think Strowman Lesnar's is the pay-per-view they've not been able to have through injury, so they'll put it on at WrestleMania.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think Strowman will go to WrestleMania to take on Lesnar, but I think Miz will win the Rumble. I think those will be our two. It'll be Strowman, Lesnar, and then Miz, Daniel Bryan.
We shall see in about 24 hours' time. Well, no, about 28 hours' time.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching mine when I get back from work on Monday.
Yeah, I'll be Monday as well.
I'll clear out the living room for that.
Yeah, on Monday I'll do it Monday as well.
Thanks for coming on, Chris.
No, it's been a pleasure, mate. I've really enjoyed it.
It's been nice to find someone else on a Football Manager forum that actually enjoys wrestling. So yeah.
They're my two guilty pleasures, mate: wrestling and Championship Manager.
I have far more guilty pleasures than I should.
But no, it's been great, mate.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
One final question before I say goodbye. If someone today offered you the job to go and be a cameraman for WWE or for a wrestling, maybe not WWE, but a decent wrestling promotion in the UK, would you do it instead of Sky?
No, I probably wouldn't. No, because it's very. It's not as interesting, I would have thought. Not the wrestling is, but the camera work is very easy doing wrestling. There's not much to do. It's all in one place. If you could say you can go and do it, go on.
Does it get easier than doing 5 minutes of talking and then watching the football for the rest of the time?
Yeah, but like Soccer Saturday, it looks like that, but that's a full day's work of prep and setting up, and then you do the gig, and that's just on Saturday. So through the week, I'll go and do like your feature interviews with Solskjaer or Mourinho or Klopp and the stuff that they run alongside that. So you get to meet all these people and go to these great places, and I get to go around the world, which is incredible, really. I went to the World Cup in Brazil for a month, so it's to swap that to do Blackpool UK NXT Takeover. No, mate, I think I'll stay where I am. Thanks.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for coming on.
Pleasure. Thank you.
And hopefully we'll have you on another time.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
All
right. Goodbye to Chris, and goodbye to you. If you made it this far in the podcast, I presume you enjoyed it. So if you want some more podcast goodness, there will be my podcast playlist up on the screen. If you want something a little bit different, then I will have some form of FM content up on the other side. I haven't decided what quite yet, but please go check them out. And of course, remember, like, share and subscribe. I know it's very beggy, but if you're not us, you don't get. So and thanks for listening.